We shall continue
This
with
call is now being recorded.
we shall continue with the topics. Okay, let me share the slides. Okay. So in the last class, we discussed the key life cycle, right? Where number of phases key should go through in its lifetime, right? Key generation, key establishment, key storage, wherein you have to keep a backup for the same, and key usage. Under key usage, you may need to change the key based on the requirement, and the required keys you may need to archival as well. So once the usage of keys are done with respect to a crypto system, then that key has to be destroyed. So that phase is key destruction. So actually throughout this chapter, we are going to study all the phases from the key generation till key destruction. Okay. First, we'll start with key generation. Key generation, we already discussed the fundamental requirement for any key management, that is secrecy of the key and assurance of purpose of key, right? Secrecy of key means what? The key that is supposed to use for the communication should be kept as secret, and only authorized users should know, should have the knowledge of these keys, right? And assurance of purpose of keys are nothing but what? For what use the keys are created. Okay, so that should be assured between the parties who are involved in the communication over the network. So that is the second requirement. So these two things we discussed in the last class. Today we'll see the keys management systems. That means the systems which are used to manage the keys will depend on these four sorry so these systems should depend on four things, that is network topology, cryptographic mechanism, compliance restrictions, and legacy issues. Excuse me, sorry. Network topology. So whatever key management systems that we use, okay, 1 second. So this whatever key management systems that we use in the internet, okay, it depends on the network topology that we choose for our system. So you have studied many network topologies, right? Star, mesh, and many more. So based on this all, so key management system depends on the network topology that we choose. And the next one is cryptographic mechanisms. So we already know for the symmetric, the two different types of crypto systems are followed, symmetric and asymmetric. So key management system is different for symmetric crypto system, and key management system is different for public cryptography system. So for both the system, we have to use different key management system. Okay, and the next one is compliance restrictions. So actually, the key management, whatever we choose, that will be depending on the application. Okay, so whatever what you can say, it should be compatible with the application. So if we have different types of key management system, then it should be compatible with the application that we choose. So it works on the applications. So we know we use many applications in our cell phone as well as over the web, right? So based on that, the key management system will be decided. And next is the legacy issues. See, legacy issues is nothing but with respect to any organization, okay, they use different technology, right? Say, let me consider algorithm like sorting algorithm. We have n number, I mean, merge sort, quick sort, heap sort, bubble sort. There are many sorting algorithms, right? So based on our requirement, we'll choose the sorting algorithm, right? I may choose bubble sort. Some of you may choose quick sort for the sorting numbers or alphabets, right? So I may use the traditional method. You may use the recent, advanced technology. So this is, the technology that we follow in our system decides the key management system here. Okay, so these are the 4 points you have to remember while choosing key management systems. First one is network topology, next one is cryptographic mechanisms, third one is compliance restrictions, and fourth one is legacy issues. So before starting the phases of key, that is the first one is key generation, you need to understand the properties of key. Okay, so that is nothing but the first one is key length. So before starting it, you should know what is key length. Okay. While choosing keys, see, we discussed about keys in first module where one time pad we discussed, right? Looking at that, we decided that key should be used only once, right? It should not be used repeatedly, isn't it? And also we discussed in the second module about the length of the key. So if we have a longer length, then it is difficult for the attackers to hack, right? So longer keys are better with respect to security issue. So with respect to symmetric cryptography, if we use longer symmetric keys, that will take more time to perform exhaustively search. Okay, so for the attacker, it will be difficult to find out if we use a longer key. Okay, so you have to keep it in mind the key length should be a longer one so that attacker should not hack those keys. Fine. So next is key lifetime. Here, the issue of key length is closely linked to the intended lifetime of a cryptographic key. So that is also called as crypto period. Okay. So the length of the key, whatever key length that we choose, that will be depend on the lifetime of the key, or you can say crypto period. Fine. So next is we'll see reasons why cryptographic keys have finite lifetimes. As I said, once the key is created, once it serves its purpose, then it has to be destroyed, right? So we'll see the reasons why a particular key or any key that we use in the crypto system should have finite lifetime. The first reason is that mitigation against key compromise. So here, having a finite lifetime prevents keys being used beyond a time within which they might reasonably be expected to be compromised. Let me consider the example exhaustive search. See, if we don't define a definite lifetime for a key, attacker may perform the exhaustive key search. This key search we discussed in the first module. Like he will keep on trying all the possibilities. See, if I'm using 10 numbers in a key, then obviously he will try all the permutation and combination possibility. So if attacker performs an exhaustive key search, even though it takes much time to find out, but at some time he may find out the actual key that is used in the crypto system. Okay, so that's why you should have a finite lifetime for the key. Fine. The next reason is mitigation against key management failures. See, let me consider an example. Like forcing an annual key change will guarantee the personnel who leave an organization during the year, but for some reason retain those keys, do not have access to the valid keys the following year. See, it says that yearly we will change the key. So let me consider the bank transaction. Okay, so in the company or in the bank organization, they may ask the user to change their online transaction password yearly. Why? Because see, we make a transaction many a times in a year, right? So if an attacker keep track of this, I mean, whatever transaction I'm doing, he may find out the password I'm using for the transaction. Okay, so that's why if if you change it yearly, then it will help the bank people to keep user records very safely, and also their amount of money. Okay, so that is why the key should have a finite lifetime. That is the second reason. And third one is mitigation against future attacks. Okay, so see, if key doesn't have a expiry date, I mean, if the key is doesn't expire within specific specified time, uh, it's general thing that there may be attacks on the crypto system. Okay, so to avoid future attacks, you have to change the, I mean, you have to have a finite lifetime for any key that is involved in the crypto system. Fine. And next one is enforcement of management cycles. So here, let me consider the example where subscription is involved. Consider if keys provide access to electronic resources that are paid for on an annual subscription basis. Okay, then having a 1 year key lifetime allows access to keys to be directly linked to the subscription to the service. So what does it says? See, if I have a let me take Prime Video, if you are using this app. One second. Okay, Prime Video app where a 1 year subscription will be given. Okay, see, that is maybe with respect to the business purpose, but there is also the reason behind here to avoid the attacks. Okay, so you will be paid for 1 year subscription. After 1 year, what happens? Yeah, you will not be having access to the same account, right? So again, you have to pay. Again, you have to set the username and password. So all those things are involved. So to avoid such cases, you need to have a finite lifetime for a key which is involved in the crypto system. And the next one is flexibility. Next reason is flexibility. So here, based on the applications, so whatever applications that we choose, based on the requirement of the application, you can change the what keys. So that's why for the same purpose, you should have a finite lifetime as well. And the last one is limitation of key exposure. So as we already discussed, when I consider online transaction, okay, so in this transaction, proper security is provided. If proper security is not provided, obviously then those keys are vulnerable for attack, right? So if we don't have a finite lifetime, if we have a finite lifetime for the key, then it limits the key exposure for the attack, isn't it? So that is one more reason why our key should have a finite lifetime. Fine. So, or you can say here, key exposure can be avoided. Fine. If you have a finite lifetime for the key. So that is all about the reasons why cryptographic key have finite lifetime, and it is very important question with respect to your exam. Okay. We'll move to the next slide. Network issue. One second, I'm not able to change the slide. One second, hold on. There is network issue in the college. Just hold on. Okay. Next topic, we'll start with the first phase of key life cycle, that is key generation. So in the diagram we saw, key generation is the first phase, right? Where it deals with the creation of key. See, when I say a key is created, obviously it should have the two properties. Okay, so what is that? I mean, two requirements. The first one is secrecy of the key, and the next one is assurance. So those two requirements should be obeyed by the key management system whenever whenever a key is created. Okay, so when key is created, it has to go through number of phases, right? So while going through all the phases, it should follow the requirements, that is secrecy as well as assurance. Okay, so there are different ways using which key generation or keys are created. Okay, and also you should remember the key generation process for symmetric cryptography as well as public key cryptography are totally different. So for symmetric cryptography, one particular algorithm is used, then that can't be used for the public cryptography. They are totally different. Okay, so these are the four ways uh, using which a symmetric key can be created. Okay, the first one is, see, these are the used to generate a symmetric key. The first one is direct key generation, second one key derivation, third one key generation from the components, and the fourth one is public key pair generation. Okay, we'll see one by one. Okay, do remember they will ask you to explain all four methods. Depending on the marks, you should write the answer. Okay, so each method, they may ask one particular method to explain, or they may ask you to explain all four. So depending on the marks, you have to explain the topic. So let's start with the first one, direct key generation. This is the first method followed. In direct key generation, as I said, this method is used to create the symmetric keys, not asymmetric keys. Okay, so here symmetric, as you know, keys are nothing but the numbers, right? Yes, we discussed in third module. Symmetric is our numbers, so it can be generated using random number generators. Okay, and this we call it as pseudo random number. Fine. So this cryptographic key is nothing but a random number. Since random number generators are used, we call this as a pseudo random numbers. Okay, so that is what said. And let's consider this example. I mean, how it is, how the keys are created here. So according to this example, if we use a hardware based non-deterministic generator, might be the appropriate for a master key. See, there is a concept master keys and slaves key. So that we will study in detail in the next topic, I mean in the next chapter. So as of now, you just remember here hardware based non-deterministic generator is used to create the master key. Okay, whereas software based non-deterministic generator, that is based on the mouse movements, it creates the local key which is used to store the, oh, you're not able to see this content, it's not visible. Okay, so actually the software based non-deterministic generator, that is nothing but the mouse movement, so that will act as a local key which is used to save the files on your PC. Okay, so I mean that acts as a key which is used, I mean what to say, the mouse movement will give you a random number, right? So that acts as a key here. Okay, in that way the key is created, and that key is used to store the files in our PC. Okay, if our PC is connected to internet, then so this key will be used as a what? Sorry, these keys are created using which the required operation will be performed. This is direct key generation method. Next method is key derivation. See here, this key derivation, it's the second method which is used to generate the keys, that is cryptographic keys, from other cryptographic keys. So do remember, as name says, it is key derivation. Okay, first a key will be created, okay, using that key. So the key is nothing but here cryptographic keys, right? So using that key, other keys are derivated. So the basic logic is deriving the keys from the base key, so that you should remember. So the advantage if you use this method is that efficiency and longevity. So these are the two advantages, efficiency and longevity. We'll see the efficiency, I mean how efficient this method is. So as I said, the keys are derived from from the base key, right? Here let's consider generating and establishing one key. So one second. Student, I'm facing network issue. I'm not able to move this. Okay. Okay, just listen. Generating and establishing one key, okay, and then using it to derive many keys. So as per the logic of this method is what we will create, I mean generate a key and we will establish it, okay, using which we are going to derive many keys. Okay, let's consider an example here. Not able to change. Okay, let's consider an example where consider there are many applications which we use, out of which some application requires confidentiality as well as data origin authentication. Okay, let's consider WhatsApp only. Okay, so where the chat that happens between two parties should be kept as confidential, and also we should know from where data is originated, right? So consider these two is our requirement with respect to WhatsApp. Okay, so then what happens, according to this application we need two keys, right? One to provide confidentiality and another one for one key we need it to provide confidentiality and other key for data origin authentication, isn't it? So that is our requirement. So if separate cryptographic mechanisms are used to provide these two security services, then we require an encryption key as well as a MAC key. So those two keys are what here with respect to this application. One key is for the encryption, another key for should act as a MAC key, right? So what we have to do here, instead of using two different mechanisms, what you need to do is generate and establish, you have to generate and establish one key, that is K, okay, and then derive two keys, K1 and K2. I hope you're following what I'm saying. So instead of using two service mechanism, one for the confidentiality, one for the data origin authentication, what you have to do, first you generate and establish one key, that is K, okay, and using that derive two keys, that is K1 and K2. So in this, you can see in the slide here, so the mouse is also not working because of I mean, network. Just see this example, which is given in the slide. Um, a very simple key derivation process might involve computing. Say, first, the generated and established key is capital K. Okay, so using that, we will derive two keys, that is K1 and K2 here. You can see in this slide. So K1, how you are going to generate? By performing hash function there. Okay, hash of K, um, K, yeah, and 0, and K2 also using hash function. It's not that you have to use only this hash function. You can use other hash function in case, that is K1 and K2. So now you can use K1 to provide confidentiality and K2 for data origin authentication. So in this way, the efficiency is achieved by following key derivation. Okay. The next method is longevity. Here, in some application, long-term symmetric keys are preloaded onto devices before deployment. So that means before using any keys, the keys are loaded, I mean preloaded onto the devices. Okay. So using these long-term keys directly to encrypt data exposes them to cryptanalysis. That means what? If we follow this method, there is a chance of for the crypto analysis to find out these long-term keys. Okay, that means there is a possibility for an attacker to attack these keys. Okay, so what we have to do? Randomly generating a new key requires a key establishment mechanism to be used, actually, which may not be always practical. This statement says that every time generating a new key and establishing the same key for the purpose, it's not practical. Okay, so for that, what we have to do is use this derived key method for the long-term key. So here an example is given. I mean, how it is derived, that is given here. One example, that is PKCS. This is password derived cryptography algorithm. Okay, here, wait 1 second. No, it's not working. I'm so sorry. Okay, in this what password based cryptography, this algorithm defines how a key can be derived from a password or a PIN. First, what we need to have, we should have a password or a PIN using which we can derive the keys. Okay, so this can be derived from a password or a PIN, which can be regarded as a relatively insecure type of cryptography key, but one which is often, it will be a long term. So example here given, such as PIN associated with the payment card. So that is a good example for this. So here for the key derivation, they follow a function that is f of p comma s comma c comma l, where this f stands for a function that explains how to combine the various inputs in order to derive a key. So f is a function which is used to combine the various inputs, that is P, S, C, L. Okay, using this input, we have to derive a key. P is what? It is a password or PIN. So using this P, we are going to derive the key. Okay, so and that will be the long-term key. Okay, and S is what? S is a string of pseudo-random bits used to enable P, that is password or PIN, to be used to derive many different keys. That is the purpose of S. And C is, it is an iteration counter that specifies the number of rounds to compute. Okay, see, in the previous example we saw hash function, right, to derive key 1 and key 2 from K, right? Whereas in this example, by considering many inputs, we are going to derive a key. Okay, basically it is from the password or PIN. So for considering this password and a string, that is pseudo random bits, and also number of iterations are required to generate number of keys, that is C here. And L is not visible. That is not visible in this slide. Okay, L is the length of the derived key. So what is there should be what length of key which are created. You should specify the length. So okay, so that is also very important here. So using this function f of p comma s comma c comma l will help you to generate the keys. That means from the base key. Here the base is nothing but the password or the pin. Using password or the pin, you can derive different keys for crypto system operation. Okay, so that is how the longevity is provided if you follow the second method, that is derived key. The first one is direct key generation, and the next one is key derivation. So that's all in this class. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. So